A regular segment, Ask Judge Mathis, features the judge answering viewer questions to advise people with legal situations that they face. Prior to entering the legal world, Mathis was involved with gangs and spent time in jail as a young man before turning his life around. In this episode, we see a teenager named Brandon Davis who was suing his uncle for beating him and throwing his medication and belongings.
So what happened when you moved in?
Alright, I moved in with my uncle and my aunt, and one morning he busted in my room, talking about turn the music down or something. Music was real low. Asked me, I said, excuse me, you could have knocked. He said, this is my house. I don't have to knock about nothing. We went and grabbed a big stick that he used to beat the dogs with.
Judge Mathis listened to both of their pleas, but when he heard that the kid was running away from the street gangs of Oakland, CA, he teared up because, as mentioned above, he was also just like this kid and was also running away.
He was running around between 6 and 7 a.m. Keep running in and out of my bedroom talking about, tired, I don't want to go to work, my sickle cell is acting up, I can't go to work.
You had sickle cell anemia?
Man, I don't even want to talk to you, man. You disrespectful.
Yeah. How many times I told you the #1 rule, no man is a bigger man than me in my house.
He just saw himself in this child. The issue mainly was that he, according to the uncle, was listening to music too loudly even though he was listening quietly.
And I said, you open your mouth again, we can take it outside. I let him know right then and there.
Your Honor, that's the truth. This dude is crazy. He threw a knife at me and was like, let's do it.
That's not crazy.
I'm your nephew, man.
You're not nothing to me.
This caused an issue and a heated exchange of words, which led to the sour relationship.
I understand that now. I understand that now, Tony. I understand I'm not nephew you now because you hurt my feelings, dude.
You know it.
You ruined my life.
Hand me a piece of tissue, man. Moved from the streets of Oakland to escape the gangs. Plead out to you for help. He running from the street gangs. How many young people run from the street gangs?
This woman was in court in front of Judge Mathis. She was charged with bleaching a pair of shoes. She came onto the show very calmly in the beginning, but when she was talking to Judge Mathis about her struggles, she had a bad attitude while speaking to her, and her body language indicated how she despised to be in the court.
I'm a single parent. I had 6 kids at the time and bills that I had to pay for. He seen the pictures on Facebook when me and my kids was at Applebee's. He called, I hung up on him. Next thing I know, my neighbors is coming telling me, oh, your cousin, the blue car that you always with, he just slashed your tires.
The man who was charging her had apparently slashed her tire while she didn't have enough apple beef for her children. When she was asked why she didn't cook instead for the children and asked about the price of the apple, she stated that they're expensive and she didn't want to cook.
How much does your bill cost at Applebee's?
I guess the 2 for $20 is, so I only added probably like
20?
2 for $20, yeah. So it was like $80.
Couldn't you have cooked that day and perhaps given him his 50? Why couldn't you?
Because I told him.
No, why couldn't you cook?
Because I didn't want to cook.
She had all okay, you didn't want
to. You didn't have to do that.
Why? So you could have, you didn't want to.
Yeah, I didn't want
enough.
to.
You didn't want to pay him his money.
Even after that, she didn't want to return the $50 she borrowed, and even when she was asked why she was suing, she didn't really have a certain reason. And when the man was stating his reason, she was just looking back and smiling at something and was not paying attention to the judge.
I was suing him because
All right, let's get to what you're suing for, sir.
I'm suing because me and her son.
What are you looking back there for? You want me to throw you out?
The judge got instantly mad and told her that if she's looking back, she can go back there and that her claims are dismissed.
All right, let's get to what you're suing for, sir.
I'm suing because me and her son.
What are you looking back there for? You want me to throw you out? You want to go back there? I'll send you back there. That's contempt of court. Go back there where you were looking. Judgment for the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed.
Thank you,
In this clip, we see 2 people in the beginning. A man who migrated to America a few years back, and a Native American with her star-stripped pride and feeling of immunity from racism.
And something that you don't know about me is that I was actually born and raised in Honduras. So I had to take a year off from school to learn English.
And that's why you don't have any respect for our laws here?
The man was explaining how he is generally from Honduras, and the woman just neglected every word he said about how he had to take a gap year just to learn English to live here.
And personal property?
How do you take me taking a year away from learning English as me learning disrespect for the law,
When I get
authority?
into the case, I'll explain.
Yeah, but you referred to him because his being born in Honduras.
She just said that he thinks the laws don't matter to him of America. This woman was acting extremely racist while being on camera the whole time, and Judge Mathis was having none of it on his carpet.
I'll explain.
Yeah, but you referred to him because his being Honduras. Yeah. As that's why
I didn't
you
refer
don't
to
have.
him.
Well, that's what he spoke of. You related it to his Honduran heritage, man.
No, that's very.
You said,
Okay.
that's why. That's why what then? What is the that's why from?
Maybe because he's not familiar with our laws here.
The judge just started going at the woman by saying things like non-Honduran son, Snow White, pure, uncut. The frustration was visible on the woman's face when the judge was saying these things, but personally, I think it was well deserved, as she has no right to judge another man for his nationality.
2 days prior, my son had had an altercation with another student at the school. We assumed.
Your son? Your son had an altercation with somebody? Your pure son? Uncut? Born here?
She should respect him for being strong enough for coming to a foreign country and learning the foreign country's language and culture.
You've not learned anything. I think you need help. You need direction. You need therapy. You need boot camp.
And I think you need a life.
A woman by the name of Danielle McDonald came to the court claiming that her son goes to a school which is infested with bullies. She claims her son has been hit in the head multiple times and has caused a mass concussion.
I'm here on behalf of my son, Dominic Rogers, who was bullied by Clarice's son. Caused him to miss 7 days of school. Caused him to stay in the hospital overnight, have a concussion. My son is a happy-go-lucky person. He never has been in a fight before in his life.
He also spent a week in hospital, she claimed, and was suing for the ambulance defendant's mother. Clarice Ross, who was defendant, says otherwise. She claims they were buddies since 4th grade. Danielle says the bully just assaulted her son without any reason in the middle of broad daylight in front of everyone, just for no reason.
My son was assaulted in the lunchroom. He was bullied. Attendant, as well as the security officer in there, walked over and said, the two of you, I don't want any playing in here. Upon my son going to class, there was a substitute teacher. Her son, again, carried on the same behavior. After class, her son snuck my son in the hallway, hit him, caused him to fall down.
No argument again?
In the classroom, he was upset with my son for hitting him back. There was the argument.
I don't know. When I got the phone call...
Oh, you don't know? Told her? Or did the school tell her that the child was hospitalized?
Her son was suspended. Mine wasn't, yes.
Nobody ever told me.
This is the first time? Don't interrupt me like you over there laughing while she's describing her son got a concussion.
The defendant and her son just laugh when they hear it because they think it's a whole bunch of bogus. Judge Mathis got extremely angry by this when she started to laugh because his mother was describing her baby boy's bad condition, and there she was laughing like a cruel villain.
Once again, did you ever hear that her son had a concussion?
Like when I got the police report back in, what was it, February?
She even admits she got a police report which stated about the concussion, even though she came in here laughing. That made Judge Mathis extremely angry at the defendant. She even lied and claimed that her son was first hit by the kid who got assaulted and that he acted in self-defense. Judge Mathis makes them stand side by side and just proved her lie in front of the whole room and judge. He dismissed the case in the favor of the plaintiff and ended with extreme anger.
Oh, yes it is. When you don't show up for mediation, they dismiss the person's claim who was not there. Your son wouldn't have been suspended because they wouldn't have had the other side of the story. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you.